The leading site within the park is the Kumu Art Museum, Estonia's striking national gallery, opened with pride and fanfare in 2006. While Estonian art evolved in step with the rest of Europe, it was also shaped along the way by the nation's history. For instance, 19th century Romanticism was the artistic style of Estonia's aristocratic German landlords, who enjoyed art featuring idyllic Estonian peasant women in folk costumes and idealized settings. Local artists continued to paint in sync with European styles from Impressionism through Cubism and so on. But Estonian art parted ways with Western Europe after the Soviet takeover in 1945, which brought the end of artistic freedom. The Soviets insisted on one kind of art, social realism. This was beyond censorship. Art had to actively promote the communist struggle. The Estonian Artists' Union was forced to renounce individual expression and be re-educated. The Stalinist formula? National in style, but socialist in content. Painters produced themes like this, titled Excellent Young Communist Workers. Industry was celebrated. Mining was big in Estonia, so miners were portrayed as heroes, marching like soldiers to their glorious work. Soviet women were shown not as the idyllic cliché of traditional motherhood, but as strong laborers working side by side with men. They were entirely engaged in the quest to reach the communist ideal. Here, a woman oversees the bolstering of agricultural production. Posters were a natural fit for social realism. They could be mass-produced. They generally came with a proclamation. This one reads, "It's good to work hard and buy government bonds." And they carried the propaganda message to every corner of society. In the 1960s, things began to change. Many Estonian artists took a more independent and avant-garde approach, injecting hints of social commentary into their work. This angered Khrushchev, and many of these artists ended up in Siberia. But as the Soviets would eventually learn, change was unstoppable. Western ideals began to infiltrate. Estonia was the only part of the USSR where pop art was recognized. Painters featured utopian scenes viewed through the eyes of alienated urbanites. Artists flirted with the psychedelic as a new generation came of age. Nearby is the stage from where the people of Estonia gathered to demand their independence. The Song Festival Grounds, which hosts massive choral festivals, is a uniquely Estonian institution. This is a national monument because of the stirring role it played in Estonia's fight for independence. With only 1 million people lodged between Russia and Germany, and without a strong military, Estonians asserted themselves with song. They say being together and singing together was their power. 300,000 Estonians gathering here to sing together.
Yeah, one day in 1988, 1/3 of Estonian nation gathered here to sing about the freedom, about the independence, to show to the rest of the world and especially to the Soviet side that we are tired to be one part of the Soviet system. And as we can see now, almost 20 years later, that it was successful.
Tallinn's Museum of the Occupation rounds out the story. Suitcases are a reminder of people who fled the country, leaving everything behind. Displays show how Russians managed to keep the Estonians in line. Surveillance was a part of daily life. Prison doors evoke the countless lives lost in detention and deportation. And the communist leaders who once lorded over the Estonian people are now in the basement, guarding the toilets.